it's Stareeirken here. Today I'll be talking about two pretty recent Disney characters from 2023 that both so happen to have physical disabilities, and I believe that they are definitely a step in the right direction. The first character comes from the most recent animated Disney movie, Wish. One of the main characters, Asha's best friend, is Dahlia, who's the baker of the village of Rosas. She has a physical disability, and she relies on a wooden crutch with two golden trimmed purple bandages to help her walk. Her design and personality is based on Doc of the Seven Dwarfs from Snow White, and so same as can apply to Asha's other friends. Like Doc, Dahlia is depicted as the leader and the level head of the group, often to give advice on how to figure out a plan to stop the villain of the movie and give anything to help her friends get out of danger. Although her friend doesn't tell her about the wishing star or the truth about the kingdom, unlike the other characters I've seen in so many other animated films, she was able to figure out, you're lying. You know? And she's hiding something, you know? She comes clean, you know? Basically like what Marinette did with Dahlia, you know? Does convince Asha to tell the truth, as they all band together to stop the ruler of the Kingdom of Rosas, who's an authoritarian who steals people's wishes because he thinks that they're dangerous and wants to prevent freedoms and rights. I find this admirable because our world right now has a lot of hate, and leaders are not really much different from Disney villains, if not even worse. Also, despite Dahlia's disability, she's not viewed much differently from everyone, and everyone around her seems to treat her with respect, except for, well, the villain. As all the people in Rosas are diverse, and they end up working together. Dahlia's condition, though, is not clear what kind of disability she has. However, it's notable and clear with the character's actress. Jennifer Kuniyama says that when she was 8 years old, she dreamed about voicing a character in a Disney movie. Now at 43, she was finally able to have her wish come true and be on the big screen of a Disney animated film, Wish, according to ABC. So she used to be a performer in Disney's California Adventure Park at Disneyland on the Aladdin stage show, which I actually did see. So I might have saw her without realizing she was there. Kuniyama was born with arthrogryposis and uses a wheelchair. She's also a self-advocate for people with disabilities and wishes for more representation. I hope more people can find themselves in this character too, and I really enjoyed the character. Hopefully we'll get more characters like that in the future, and I hope Kuniyama gets it's really nice that someone like her can play a character that's like her. The next character is a little bit younger this time around. I never thought I would talk about a Disney Junior show of all things. Well, here I am. The show I'm talking about is a little show called Firebuds. You might be wondering, what is Firebuds? It follows three kids who live in a society with talking vehicles who serve as every human's companions. And for some reason they have like these retractable robot arms that like pick up things and stuff, and they talk. And the main group of kids that are training to be first responders, just like their parents, by going around, the neighborhood, helping people out and doing different rescue missions. Pretty standard kids show stuff. Nothing too extraordinary. It kind of sounds like another show with dogs. However, this particular episode of the show and this character really stood out. The character I'm going to be talking about is Jazzy. Jazzy is the younger sister of one of the main characters, Jaden. She has spina bifida, and she drives on a wheelchair car. She also calls her roommate, and its name is Piper, and also talks like the cars. Jazzy loves to help out the Firebuds, who are training to be first responders. The character is also, like Dahlia, is voiced by someone with a physical disability, that being Lobo Spencer. She has muscular dystrophy. In the episode All That Jazzy sees a performance by a dancer who has a similar condition to her, and she's able to dance on her wheelchair. Jazzy aspires to be a dancer just like her, even going as far to try to replicate her routine. This does not work out in the end. Her idol dancer tells her that it's better for her to do her own dance. In the end of the episode, she does one incredible performance with the help of the friends, and ended up having a good time in the end. Episodes like this show that no matter the condition or the struggle, we can all dance to our own beat. This is a wonderful message for people with this kind of disability. Respectability, a disability-led nonprofit advocacy group committed to ending stigma and advancing opportunities for disabled folks, actually helped advise the scripts and the storyboards and the animatics for this episode and another episode that featured Jazzy, which also inspired the writer of the show, Jeremy Shipp. This episode was also inspired by the writer of the show, Jeremy Shipp's own son, Henry, who was also born with a cleft and a palate. It's the kind of stories we just don't come along every day, according to the Romper. In that same article, it said that in 2019, there was a report from the UK called "Is TV Making Your Child Prejudiced?" A report into preschool programming found that not only disability representation is lacking in both American and British cartoons, but the characters with disabilities are portrayed as villains, such as a character with no limb being a villain in Ninjago. It's super touching and uplifting that we have characters that are nice, characters with these kind of disabilities, because I believe both Dahlia and Jazzy are incredible efforts from Disney that allow people with physical disabilities to be seen as individuals, and also inspires people with similar to disabilities to follow their aspirations and dreams, and can learn to find acceptance no matter what they do.
Everyone, I'm Chris, and my next segment is about the Teen Titans episode Sum of Its Parts, starring the hero Cyborg. The show Teen Titans is a famous DC superhero show starring 5 teenage superheroes, the Teen Titans, who protect their home, Jump City, from all sorts of evil villains and monsters. One of the Titans is a young hero named Cyborg, an average teenage athlete until a tragic accident left him so damaged he had to be reconstructed as a cyborg to survive. Cyborg represents disabled people so well. He is depicted as a tragic figure who struggles to accept his new prosthetic limbs and mechanical body. He is a hero and a young teenager. The author portrays the cyborg in the episode The Sum of His Parts as a human struggling to accept his mechanical parts in everyday life. One example is in the opening scene where Cyborg is seen playing a football game with the other Titans and is having a good time until his battery runs low and he shuts down in the middle of the game. The role that the author has given Cyborg is one where he must accept the limitations of his disability and grow as an individual who doesn't let his disability define him as a person. This episode is a positive story that ends well for the character Cyborg, as he faces a cybernetic villain known as Fix-It, who discovers Cyborg after a battle with the villain Mumbo Jumbo later in the episode. Fix-It sees Cyborg as a film machine in need of repairs and views his human parts as needing an upgrade. Cyborg is terrified as his greatest fear in being a cyborg is losing his humanity. Cyborg's problem with being seen as only a machine is very relatable to viewers who have physical disabilities because they too feel that their artificial limbs can be a struggle to live everyday life. At the beginning of the episode, Cyborg meets a young boy with a prosthetic arm in the park. The boy is depicted as excited to meet Cyborg because he's a famous hero and with prosthetic limbs just like him. I think the reason why the author believes that the issues that come from having disabilities are essential to portray is that viewers who have a physical disability need to know that they are more than just the sum of their parts, and that they are each unique in their own ways. I think the best example of this was during the end of the episode where Cyborg tells Fix-It that if he removes Cyborg's human parts, he'll be removing the parts that are him, and he's about to download Cyborg's brain into a new robot body. Fix-It sees flash images of Cyborg's memories in the park that we saw earlier in the episode, causing Fix-It to stop the upgrade procedure. Fix-It is seen kneeling on the ground with a sad look, saying how beautiful the outside world is through Cyborg's eyes. Fix-It then says that he is the one in need of repairs, whereas Cyborg states that he's the one who can repair him as he offers his hand to Fix-It. Afterward, we see Cyborg having fun in the park with his friends again, where he meets the little boy again. The boy brings his friend over and tells him that Cyborg was just like him. Cyborg then tells him that he is just like him, but it wasn't the prosthetic limbs that made them similar, but the stuff connected to them. Lastly, improvements I would make to the story would be to show Fix-It socializing with other people, showing the viewers that just like Cyborg, he no longer feels defined by his mechanical body and is starting to grow as an individual.
Josee from Josee the Tiger and the Fish. A paraplegic young woman named Kumiko Yamamura prefers the nickname Josee. The main boy is at a university studying marine biology and gets offered by Josee's grandmother as her caretaker at the beginning of the movie. Josee is very hostile and defensive and can be rude even to those she cares about. She behaves this way because of how mistreated she was with her disability and how she had to adjust to this role. Despite those harsh mannerisms, she actually has a good heart towards others before meeting the MC. She used to think she could not see the world. Because of her limitations, the main guy takes her on jaunts to show her around the community. Through their time together, the two begin to realize the traits that bind them not only as friends, but more and can work together. My thoughts on character: she is okay, but can be rude at times, but I am glad things ended well for her and the main guy.
Presenting my Pelswick review. Pelswick Acre is a male middle school student who's been in a wheelchair for an unknown period while living an everyday but wacky life between his family, his classmates, and his friends while being picked on bullies and giving good advice and wisdom by his guardian angel. John Callahan, the creator of Pelswick, based on his books before they were adapted for television animation, portrays the titular character himself as just an ordinary teenager who is unique in his own way due to his physical abilities and physical disabilities, and relies on a motorized wheelchair to be mobile. Despite Pelswick's handicap, he has skills, talents, confidence, pride, and hope while making a difference with love and support from friends and family. The positive story of Pelswick so far ends well, regardless of the silliness and wacky situations or misadventures he and his loved ones have ever been through. From rides to go camping to sports competitions. Things like those work out in the end for some of the characters. Supporting characters, including Pelswick's best friends Ace and Good, his father, siblings, and Gram, and even Crush Girl Julie, treat Pelswick fairly, kindly, with much care and respect. But rival bullies, like Boyd, Nick, and Joe, just humiliate and torture Pelswick cruelly for fun just because of his disability. John Callahan believes the issue is essential to portray the main character because it sends a message to inspire people that no matter if you're crippled or not, physically or mentally, you're still awesome in your way, still got a life worth living, and have family and friends that still love and support you. I would improve the story by revealing a backstory that explains how he became a paraplegic in the first place and what happened to his mother, no matter how dark, depressing, and controversial. According to my fan theory, when Pelswick was little, he was in a car with his mom who died somehow in an accident that caused his legs to become permanently paralyzed. Despite his fortunate survival, his guardian angel, Mr. Jimmy, sent her for the first time to watch over Pelswick, guide him, and advise him. I would also change the story by making Boyd and his friends stop bullying Pelswick, and Julie could finally date Pelswick and become his advocate. The end.